welcome back to I'm Set the Podcast. I'm Danny Sherroll.
I'm Sports Talk Tasha.
And I am Adriana Smith.
So much has happened this week in sports. Let's start off with Ja Morant.
Absolutely. First of all, I want to give a shout out to sports for always making every week interesting.
Every week?
Not
every
always
single
in a
week.
good way. Our friend Ja, we talked about this. Ja Morant decided to go on IG Live and wave a gun on IG Live, which is a violation of NBA policy. Not only did he wave a gun on IG Live, but that gun happened to be in his possession in the state of Colorado. And he does not play in the state of Colorado. He plays in the state of Tennessee. So now the NBA, as well as the Memphis Grizzlies, are looking like, okay, Ja, how did you get this gun with you in Colorado? Did you happen to take this gun with you from Tennessee to Colorado? Because if you did, that's a clear violation of the NBA CBA, which definitively states that if you have a gun anywhere near team facilities, anywhere on a plane, anything like that, it is an automatic 50-game suspension. So, y'all, please tell me, why does Ja Morant think that he's Tariq St. Patrick? Why?
So unnecessary.
I mean, I don't understand. First of all, where was he raised?
I don't know where he's from.
Where's he from?
I don't know where he's from, but I know that he comes from a solid two-parent household, and he went to, a good school, and it's not like he has daddy or mommy issues. They were both there, and he also has a younger sister who plays basketball and plays it very well.
But I just want to know what was going through his mind for him
That's
to
a
say.
good question. But let's rewind just a little bit, because there is talk about his father being more of a friend to him, as opposed to that fatherly sort of disciplinarian. And we've seen his father courtside.
Right.
To me, he looks a whole lot like Usher, but
He
I
does.
digress. So, there's that. And we've heard talk, and I think Jalen Rose did an amazing job of summing it up. When you have these young guys who come into a lot of money, they are like the leaders of the crew and the leaders of their family, and there's a lot of pressure put on them. So it seems as though the Memphis Grizzlies have had, some sort of issues in the past with Ja Morant, and he has come out, apologized, he took ownership of what has been going on with him, and now they're looking to get him some help.
But no. Getting him help and having common sense is different. You know for a fact that you are a NBA player, highly known. Common sense will say, I am not going to go on Instagram Live, wave a gun, hey everybody, as if you don't have a lot of people watching you.
Right.
I think sometimes we make too many excuses for the players, and yes, his father may act more like a friend, but how old is he?
He's in his early
23.
20s.
Okay,
26,
so
23.
yes, he may be young, but he's not dumb.
No, he's
Come on,
so
come on.
Ja is still an
Who
adult.
in their right mind, knowing the status that they are in, that's going to go on Instagram Live, click live, and go wave a gun?
But I think that's the issue. It is he in his right mind? What is going through his mind? What sort of things does he need to work through so that he isn't making these mistakes? So it's the help that he's needing is what the Memphis Grizzlies are offering.
Here's the thing, because you see the Miami Heat have Udonis Haslem, who is a strong veteran presence who guides these players, these young players. And the Memphis Grizzlies is a young team. They don't have a lot of older veterans on that team that, have been around the block that can say that they have done something. So you have Dylan Brooks, who's also a knucklehead in my opinion.
But he's back now, and he is offering his support to his friends.
He is. But Dylan Brooks, what kind of support can Dylan Brooks give to Ja Morant? Because Dylan Brooks is the type of person who gets 16 technical fouls and gets suspended for one game because he's trying to be the enforcer on that team. He's trying to be that dog, I'm this guy, and he has this beef with Draymond Green or whatever. So what is Dylan Brooks going to offer Ja Morant? Like, what kind of
A
guidance?
listening ear.
They need a life coach on that team.
They do.
They need somebody who is
Strong
certified,
therapist.
who is Iana. They need to call her out. Hey, come fix his life because something is wrong. Something is wrong. Has to be.
Is that going to work though? Because look what happened. Look what happened when the Spurs had their therapist, and the player was exposing himself to her. So like,
Some wishful thinking.
So like, where's the balance going to come from for that team? Because they have a lot of problems internally, and they had a lot of success early, and as a young team, it doesn't seem like they have a handle of what to do. I can't give Ja Morant a pass. Like, I know
Absolutely
I did.
not.
I know when I was 22, 23, I was stupid. I did a lot of stupid crap. Like, you can't even tell me about my level of stupidity. But number one, I wasn't a globally recognized NBA player. And number two, I was able to say, okay, like, I'm still 22 and ain't nobody watching me, so I can do whatever I want. I didn't have social media, another thing to worry about. So there's all of these factors that play into it. But at the end of the day, Ja Morant needs to know who he is. He is not just 22-year-old Ja Morant. You have to be a grown-ass man. Like, you have to.
I think in theory it sounds good, but the reality is it's a lot of pressure.
It is a lot of pressure.
And there's a lot of, eyes on people that are still coming into their own, that don't really know who they are and are making mistakes.
But I just think there are some mistakes that you really don't have to make. Like,
So-
he had to know.
So in his defense, though, I am hoping that this is Ja Morant's moment, because even Kobe Bryant had to have an aha and a big aha moment
Absolutely.
before he decided to wake the hell up, because it took him getting accused, charged, going to trial for rape for him to figure it out. So I'm hoping that this is Ja's aha moment.
I mean, in Kobe's situation, he was cheating. That's really what happened, right? Ja's situation, first of all, you already made headlines with your hood friends that was out here threatening the staff, no?
Right.
Okay.
It wasn't the staff. It was like supposedly like somebody else who in the arena shining the little light.
Okay. They already spoke to you, but like, hey, sir, tread lightly. This is not good. Cool. You decided to go on. You know what it takes for you to go live. You got to open your phone. You have to click the button. You have to scroll and click live. Then go pull out your gun to wait. It's just too much going on in the mind for you to really not say, like, man, if I post this video or if I go live with this, there's a lot of fans that's going to screen record this and share it, and it's going to go viral. Like, he had to really know. So if he is going through some issues, then okay, maybe he's lashing out or whatever. But I just feel as though they know what they signed up for, period. When you wanted to be drafted in the league, you already know based on your contract, there is a certain way that you have to conduct yourself. And I think we just cannot keep giving these players passes after passes, and we need to stop blaming everything on mental health. Some of them, honestly, they really do have common sense. They just don't want to use it. We cannot keep saying they need help and they need therapy, and because that's not always the case. Some people are just very defiant, very rebellious, and they just want to do what they want to do, and they don't think that there's real consequences for their actions, because they are very entitled. They believe that they're athletes, they're good, especially, I think he's like one of like the star players on the team, right?
He is the star.
Okay, so he know for a fact I'm the star player. the Grizzlies ain't whatever,
So 50-game suspension, you feel like it's warranted? Hand it to them?
Absolutely. I think they have to start making an example out of these players, so that way these young guys know that this is a job at the end of the day. They are paying you millions of dollars to not only play the game, but to be an ambassador for that team, especially if you are the face of that team.
Right.
What do you look like really going on live, waving a gun and having a good old time like you're not the face of a team?
Well, I don't think that he's going to ultimately get a 50-game suspension.
He probably not.
Because they have to prove that he carried a gun from Tennessee to Colorado on that team plane. And I don't really foresee how they can prove that. But I do think he will get some sort of substantial suspension. And I think Ja needs to take some time for himself away from the game, away from the cameras and the lights and the action, and just he needs some self-reflection. Like you said, like he needs to figure it out because there are other players who have figured it out who are younger than him, i.e. LeBron James. So if he needs to step back and say, you know, what can I do to be a better person? First of all, it's like you said, you got to cut those friends, Ja. Like, your homeboys ain't your homeboys.
At all. Cut them. Leave them behind. No,
Okay.
for real. We got to leave them behind.
So talking about faces of the team, we got Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens, up for his contract, and we've seen the memes floating around comparing him and Taysom Hill,
Right.
and what they've made. So here we are. We saw Deshaun Watson. He just got a $230 million contract.
Fully guaranteed.
Do you think that Lamar Jackson's worth it? And where are we with these negotiations?
So, yes, he is absolutely worth it. And Lamar isn't the only NFL player who's fully worth a fully guaranteed contract. Let's just put that out there. But unfortunately, and the way it looks, you know, this was brought to my attention by another excellent journalist. Shout out to the NFL chick, Sarita. Sarita put on her Instagram story her theory about what the NFL is doing here. So what the Ravens have done is given Lamar Jackson the non-exclusive franchise tag. And what that means is that they're going to pay him $32 million, a little over $32 million for 1 year in Baltimore. However, other NFL teams can shop with Lamar, give him offers, and the Ravens then has the ability to match whatever Lamar gets outside. Now, all the other teams that need a quarterback have magically come out and said, hey, we are not going to pursue Lamar, whether it's the Raiders or the Dolphins or all these teams that need a quarterback. We're not going to pursue Lamar. So what Sarita said was that she felt that it was a sort of collusion. Like the NFL teams got together and said, we don't want to play NFL. We don't want to pay them, these players, fully guaranteed contracts. We don't want that happening in the NFL. This is not the NBA. So what we're going to do is you, Ravens owner, you put the franchise tag on him. We're not going to shop him. So we're going to win because then Lamar just has to stay with the Ravens. And that's exactly what it looks like. And the NFL is a grimy ass business.
Very.
And the owners always come up the winners. They always do because they're good old boys, all of them. There's not one black owner in the NFL. Let's just put that out there. Most of the owners are old white men who have been around. And, you know, we've heard some of the owners refer to these players in very negative, derogatory terms. So you can't tell me that they don't look at these players as plantation workers.
Interesting take. I want to shout out Lamar's mother, who is his agent, who has done a phenomenal job up to this point negotiating for him. And absolutely, he's worth every cent of the $230 million that he is possibly looking at, comparing to Deshaun Watson's contract.
Wait. They gave Deshaun that much money?
Yes. They gave him $230 million, and he was knee deep in all of these allegations. Now, I'm not saying Deshaun did any of that.
I was a little confused. I said, how much they gave this man?
200.
Did he even play?
Apparently, he's restructuring his contract as well. But at the end of the day, they didn't even. Deshaun couldn't even play. He was suspended for 12 games when he came to the Cleveland Browns, and they still paid him that money.
So Lamar, face of the team, is so deserving. We're going to see how this plays out.
We know how this is gonna play out.
Negotiations. Very interesting take from NFL chick. Shout out to you, Sarita. You know that the collusion is, there's a lot of possibilities. Another take this week in sports, we have Creed. Amazing film. I haven't seen it yet. We got to go check it out.
We have to go watch it.
I have. Listen, I binge watched all 6 Rocky movies. Yes, I did. All 6 of them. and then Creed 1, and then Creed 2. This is from last Wednesday to Sunday when I went to go see Creed 3 because I needed to know. First of all, I had never seen Rocky 1 or 2.
You never seen Rocky?
I wasn't on Earth when they came out. No, I seen Rocky, just not Rocky 1 and 2. I wasn't here. I was not born. I was still not even a thought. And yes, I've seen movies before my time, but I just didn't see Rocky, okay? Don't judge me. So I had to see all the movies, and I went to go see it. I'm not going to tell you guys what happened. I'm not going to give any spoilers. But what I do want to say is that y'all need to stop saying that Jonathan Majors is emasculated or feminine, because that man was all man. Ooh, la la.
Tasha.
Yes.
We all saw the magazine.
I don't care about the magazine. I saw the movie.
The movie and the magazine is different.
Completely different. But we're going to see it so that we can, have another take. So you guys tune in for next week. Not necessarily in sports, but it should be more women talking about sports, coming together, and having our takes, because it is interesting to hear, right, y'all? We want to hear from you. But this week, we got to see Angela Yee, another journalist.
Right.
People really coming down on her, some entertainers coming down on her because they felt like she wasn't really standing up for women.
Right.
What do you guys feel about the commentary and the position that she is in? Now, Angela Yee was on the Breakfast Club with DJ Envy and Charlamagne the God, and as the only woman on the show, she has some entertainers that have come on the show, and they felt like she was sort of complicit in the conversations. She sort of didn't defend them, and in some instances even brought up things that were sort of negative, not sort of, just point blank period, negative and disgusting, if you will. But she re-engaged the conversation when she didn't have to, and so she really wasn't standing up for women or being supportive in K. Michelle's case from her perspective. So she came at her, and
Erica Mena too.
Erica Mena, Lil
Lil
Mama.
Mama.
So what do you guys think about, women standing up for women and, Angela Yee's position as a journalist?
I mean, the Breakfast Club is controversial. So I could understand why she played the role that she played. But honestly, when I would watch the Breakfast Club or listen to them, I don't feel as though Angela Yee said much.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't feel like her voice was dominant amongst DJ Envy or Charlamagne. I find most of the time like she was just a little passive in those conversations.
To speak on that too, I feel like she kind of played like this mediator role, sort of like how Molly Qerim does on First Take, or like, when they insert a woman and men on a show, it's sort of like the woman has to just kind of be there passive and just mediate the conversation instead of actually being a part of the conversation. And I think that's part of the reason Angela left after 13 years, because she didn't need to do that. Now, I do think that they took everything she said on Tamron Hall shows and just totally out of context, because what she said is that being the only black woman on the show, and people took it to mean like, oh, she's saying she's the only woman in the whole set. And that's not what she meant. She meant, I'm the only woman between Charlamagne and Envy.
Like,
that's how I took it, right? Now, I don't know what Lil Mama's beef with her is. Erica Mena was talking about how Angela Yee didn't tell her that Envy was married. First of all, Erica, shut up, because it's not Angela's job, who don't know you from a can of paint, to tell you that the man that you're with is married. Like, she don't know you. That's not your friend. That's not your homie. And that's somebody she has a professional working relationship with. What is she supposed to do? What is she supposed to be like? Come on, sis, he's married. She don't know you. First of all, Envy is a popular man. You can't figure it out with some Google. We've been Googling people since 2000, whatever the hell. Like, girl, get the hell out of here. Anyway, so that's Erica Mena inserting herself in the conversation. But women were really getting down like, oh, Angela Yee never made us feel seen or heard. Angela Yee on the Breakfast Club, like you said, was just there as like a little mediator. So what is she gonna do? Like, her voice was not powerful on that show, and I believe that's why she left, because she didn't need that show anymore. She has a voice, and she knew it.
And she has created spaces for women.
Yes. She has a whole podcast and she brought her friends on that,
Yeah.
you know, nobody knew her friends, but she brought them on and she's helping them up. So don't tell me, Angela, you don't do anything for women or women of color or whatever.
But what was interesting was DJ Envy commenting under her video and was like, "Cap," you know, it was that back and forth, that banter. So
He went back later on and said, you know, it was taken out of context what she said. Envy is sometimes a little bitch anyway.
But I think even with those comments, right, it kind of already proves her point because as soon as she spoke out against like her experience and just expressed how she felt, it was like, no, Cap, you're lying, that's not true, and it's just like, but she's expressing how she felt as the only black woman a part of the crew, and I'm
Right.
sure she was treated differently. I think we don't even know what she endured behind the scenes, how she was treated to the point where she's just like, you know, enough is enough, because when you really do look at it, like, I don't believe she was treated the best, you know. Angela Yee, even in those interviews, you could kind of tell like her voice was being minimized.
When it comes to like these male dominated industries, which let's face it, every industry is a male dominated industry, right? So you have the women who come in there and they're trying to set their place and make their name be heard. The stuff that happens, like, y'all don't even know. This, even like me covering sports, I once covered a boxing match and I will never forget this. A random reporter came up to me and just touched my hair. And I was like, know you. And he was like, oh, it just looks so soft. But I don't know you. Like, why would you think it's okay to just randomly touch my hair? But that's just like a minor like thing that could happen. I'm very conscious of people randomly touching my hair that I don't know. Like, I don't know about y'all, but don't touch my hair. I don't know you.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I just feel like women y'all just don't even know what
Right.
we go through.
What do you
So
think?
in
Dee?
Angela's defense, I feel like she is somewhat of a mediator. You have very strong personality with Charlamagne the God, who we have seen grow, you know, as a journalist, you know, just as a person. Charlamagne was extremely obnoxious, and he's gotten so much better. And then DJ Envy, he did, you know, I felt like it was taken out of context. I really believe that she just meant on the show,
Right.
not the other producers. And, you know, he went on how there are other women. But I will say, as far as K. Michelle went, she did bring up the conversation again about K. Michelle. And so for K. Michelle to go in there and feel like, you know, she was violated in a sense, you know, there was a conversation that didn't need to be had. I could understand where she was coming from, woman to woman. However, as you said, they are a controversial show, you know, and it is a lot of clicks, and you're saying things to get people to watch it. So, you know, at the end of the day, as you would say, I do believe that, you know, in some instances, we want to stand up for one another, but you also want to get the story out,
Right.
as a journalist.
Right.
You want people to watch. You want to know, you know, well, how do you feel, or why would you do this? And so, you know, it is a double-edged sword because, you know, Angela Yee, to me, I have watched her throughout the years, listened in to The Breakfast Club. I'm excited for where she's going with her new podcast. But as women, yes, we want to stand up for one another, but at the same time, do you want to get the story out?
I mean, that's why people didn't like Wendy Williams.
Well, they're coming
And-
for Tamron Hall now too.
No way.
Oh yeah, they're talking about how when you go on the show, she doesn't. Portia said something about it. She makes you uncomfortable sometimes with her questioning. So like, listen,
You can't win for losing.
no, you can't.
So
But I do think whenever you go on these shows, they always ask, what is off limits, right? And I know that is something that's always done prior to being on set. Now, if you say like, oh, you can ask me whatever, and then they're asking you questions, you can't feel uncomfortable when the questions are being asked because you did not say, hey, don't touch this. Like with the Chris Brown situation, right? Chris Brown told everybody at Good Morning America, do not ask me about my situation with Rihanna.
Right.
And they was like, good. Then they went and asked him about the situation with Rihanna, and he blew a fit, which I understand because he already told you guys, do not ask me about that. I want to talk about my music. I want
Right.
to focus on what I came here for. But if you say that you have no issues with any questions being asked, and then you get on set and the person is doing their job and asking you the questions that we want to know the answers to, you can't get upset about that.
Fair.
It's true. It's true. Okay, so talking about violation, and we're gonna wish Angela Yee well. And as women, you know, we are talking about sports, and in a way that we don't normally hear sports talked about, right? So we want to have support of other women. At the same time, our goal is not to offend, but we want to ask questions, right? Now, we've seen Patrick Mahomes' brother violating this week in sports, an owner of the restaurant, grabbing this woman by the face, kissing her in her mouth. And she has gone public about this,
Adrian on his face.
caught on video. And so there is backlash this week.
Yes.
This week. So backlash on Patrick Mahomes and how he needs to control his brother.
First of all, that is not his responsibility.
Thank you.
His brother is grown.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, we got to not do that. Just because it's Patrick Mahomes' brother, Patrick Mahomes is not Patrick Mahomes' brother's father, okay? Patrick Mahomes' brother has common sense.
No, he doesn't.
Well, he should.
He's stupid.
And he's
So
a
we
grown
say
adult.
common sense is not common.
Clearly, this is the theme of the show because the people don't have common sense. But I just don't be understanding what be going through the minds of these people. Like,
Well, you talked about entitlement.
Yep.
You talked about, and I don't know, they were in some sort of restaurant, seemed to be in a back office somewhere, and he literally grabbed this woman's face and was, you know, kissing her.
so she pressing charges?
She is.
Absolutely.
She is pressing charges. But the thing, this is not like the first incident with Jackson Mahomes. Jackson Mahomes fully believes that he is Patrick Mahomes, like the little version of Patrick Mahomes. So he thinks that because his brother is who he is, he could just do whatever he wants.
Mind you,
And
he's a big little brother.
yes, he's very tall. But he is not a kid anymore. He's got to be about 20, 21 by now. And at this point in his life, he's just stupid. Like, he is legitimately just stupid because he just thinks that he could do whatever he wants and it's going to be okay. But the first lesson you need to learn in life is that you can't do whatever you want, and it's not going to be okay just because you just do whatever you want. It doesn't matter how much millions of dollars your brother have. It does not matter. So Jackson Mahomes has been doing this. I mean, he's been in altercations with fans at the stadium. He has done several things throughout Patrick Mahomes' career, and people's always like, oh, you got to control your brother. First of all, Patrick Mahomes during a game is on the field, so he has no idea what his brother is doing. He can't control him. He can't. Just like you said.
He will not be coming to none of my games.
He on punishment?
Absolutely. If you don't know how to conduct yourself, you don't have no decorum, you can't come nowhere. Like, because at the end of the day, I'm in the news, I'm in headlines because you don't know how to behave yourself? No. I would say, security, don't let him in here. No, you can't come. Call me fake, call me flawed, call me whatever you want to, but I don't need to be coming off the field and I'm hearing that you fighting fans.
Right. Listen.
Really?
You just made me think of something because I told y'all about these Rocky movies. I've been knee deep in them. So Patrick Mahomes, his brother, Jackson, reminds me, like, he has a Rocky, Robert Balboa, his son, he has a Robert Balboa syndrome because in the last movie, I'm spoiling it for everyone who hasn't seen it, Robert Balboa has this issue because Rocky's his dad and he can't live up to that. I feel like Jackson's like, you're my brother and I suck. Well, get over it.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So this week, common sense, right? Playing your position, and who are we supporting? So much going on this week in sports. Y'all, catch us next week. I'm sure there are going to be lots of headlines. I'm Danisha Rowe.
I'm Sports Talk Tasha.
And I am Adriana Smith.
Bye.